Justice Paul Bafo-Boni became the Chief Justice of the country. Addresses from the President, as well as the new Chief Justice of the Republic. But yes, the President, when he had cause to address the nation on expectations of the new Chief Justice, right? There's a task ahead, and it will be one of the many things we'll seek to look at today as well. What the challenges could be, and really what the narrative could be during his tenure as Chief Justice.
And I wish to say that an independent judiciary is not a favor to the courts. It is a constitutional necessity, sometimes criticized. Our people want institutions that work, but they also demand institutions that they can trust. The judiciary in particular must be above reproach. One single act of corruption by a judicial officer can undermine years of hard work and erode public confidence in the entire system. My Lord Chief Justice, one of your most urgent tasks is to strengthen integrity within the judiciary. And this includes, firstly, firm but fair disciplinary standards for judges and staff. Secondly, transparent and predictable procedures for case assignment and management. Thirdly, strong internal mechanisms to address allegations of misconduct. And fourth, a culture where ethical conduct is rewarded and wrongdoing is swiftly sanctioned. Our citizens must know and feel that justice in Ghana is not for sale, and that no one, regardless of their power or status, is too powerful or too humble to be held accountable under the law. Justice must not only be fair, it must also be accessible, it must be timely, and it must be affordable. Too many of our fellow citizens still experience justice as something that is distant, that is slow, and financially burdensome. Court adjournments, delays in delivering judgments, and complex procedures can turn our courtrooms into places of frustration rather than places of hope. I therefore urge you, my Lord, in collaboration with the Judicial Council and the Bar, to prioritize the reduction of case backlogs through innovative case management systems. The expansion and modernization of court infrastructure, especially in underserved districts. Also, the use of technology, e-filing, virtual hearings where appropriate, and digital recordings to improve efficiency.
As a President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, speaking there, a new Chief Justice as well, also had a few to say in terms of his response and what the plan is for the country's judiciary.
Mr. President, in accepting this office, I give my solemn word that I will uphold the rule of law, respect the separation of powers, and protect the Constitution. I will respect the independence of every judge and ensure that the judiciary remains free from improper influence. I will also insist on accountability, because independence without responsibility breeds entitlement and erosion of public trust. Judges, court officers, and staff will be encouraged and supported to act ethically, to treat all who come to court with fairness, and to understand that the title judge is not a privilege but a public service. Every litigant who enters a courtroom brings not only a case, but hope that justice will be done. I accept the responsibility of preserving that hope. I urge all stakeholders, lawyers, litigants, civil society, the public, to join us in forging a judiciary worthy of the confidence of the Ghanaian people. Your Excellency, we also cannot ignore the call for reform in legal education. The future of the bar is the future of the bench. We must move from exclusion to inclusion, from rote learning to critical thinking, and from credentialism to competence. Working with the General Legal Council, the Ghana School of Law, and our law faculties, we shall pursue a model that ensures opportunity without compromising quality. Our goal is not merely to produce more lawyers, but better lawyers who are disciplined, ethical, and devoted to the cause of justice.
That's the newly sworn-in Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. Justice Paul Bafo-Boni speaking during his swearing-in yesterday as well on quite a lot in relation to expectations of him. And you had the mention of legal education. That's one of the many things on the front burner in terms of expectations of not just the Chief Justice, but of this particular administration as well, because there's that promise of a new legislation which will, amongst many other things, amend or change the means through which people get legal education and become lawyers as well in the country. We're going through a lot in terms of what's happened over the course of the last 24 hours in the news cycle for you, and a lot later on this morning's show as well, we'll delve into concerns of visa fraud by three high commissions: the Australian High Commission, the Canadian High Commission, as well as the United Kingdom, all who are raising concerns, and this week setting out the week as a week for education on visa fraud and the need for persons to go through the right processes in acquiring visas, particularly as the 2026 World Cup draws ever so closer, amongst many other things. But let me take you to Parliament right now, because we know yesterday the Speaker addressed the media on quite a number of subject matters and had cause to speak to the position of the minority as it is now, and what he says is a direct reference to him as his time as a minority leader as a basis for the way the current minority is acting. This is what Speaker Bagbin had to say with respect to that.
One is called National Democratic Congress. They recognize the weakness they have in the area of democracy. And so that's their weakness, which they must work on. The other is called New Patriotic Party. They recognize the weakness in patriotism, and that they must work on. This is my candid, objective analysis of the two parties. The NDC is weak in democratic culture. The NPP is weak in patriotism. Both parties must work on this for Ghana to progress. One is called National Democratic. What the minority leader is doing now is not what I did. He has copiously referred to you people.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
I never on the floor raise my voice. I never on the floor try to show grandeur. No. I studied the ecology, the political environment. I tested the pulse of the people, and you play along that. I didn't do what you are doing. Please, anybody can go and read. Only one occasion, when the Right Honorable Peter Lajeti came and read a statement attacking me personally, that I rose up to say my side of the story. And he will not allow me to do so. My very good friend, Papa Nkuma, who was the majority leader then, stood up and said, once he mentioned me specifically, by our standing orders, I have the right of reply. And he shouted at him and prevented him and ordered him to sit down. And that day, I took my books and stormed to my office.
Sunrise.
My colleagues did not follow me. They continued with the work of Parliament. It was in my office that the then few cameras, led by GTV, questioned why I moved out. And I gave them my side of the story. I said, if this is how the Speaker was going to go about things on the floor of Parliament, I will go after him. That caught the attention of the whole nation. That is the only instant. And later when I met him and narrated that he accused me without basis, they pleaded on me to rather tone down my response, which was meaningless. It's also captured in the official report. I'm saying this because this has been referred to many times by many people that I behaved the same way when I was minority leader. If I did, we could have turned things around within 2 years, and we almost won the 2004 elections. And these young MPs, the Minister for Education and his team, joined us in 2005. Please, the opportunity is now, and that is why I'm saying this.
As the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, speaking yesterday, and a number of you may have come across this video on your respective social media handles. Well, there you go, having to hear it again as he speaks to his concerns about a comparison between himself and the now minority, and essentially making the argument that when I get up to leave, nobody follows me, and so when you're getting up to leave as well, nobody should be following you. Let's get into a number of the papers which are here with us this morning. The Daily Graphic leads with 2026 budget VAT reforms to boost business growth. That's according to the GRA boss. Speaker launches scholarship for MPs, parliamentary staff. That should pique a lot of interest. It was at the same event. Uphold judicial integrity, President tells new Chief Justice. And Leonard Yet wins most outstanding PR agency. Leonant Yet. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, the Catholic Relief Services has presented or donated $500,000 in medical supplies to Northern Health facilities. Also, Jospon Group outlines blueprint for private sector in carbon markets. I have the Ghanaian Times newspaper as well here with me. Let me just do that quickly. Upper East regional farmers face existential threat from donkey slaughter, climate crisis. That story on page 12. Inflation for building sector eases to 9.7% in September. That's according to the Ghana Statistical Service. Comes with a picture of the government statistician, Dr. Alhassan Idrisu. Dr. Abdallah to be honored posthumously, next national awards. And military recruitment in Accra resumes Thursday across 8 centers. On the back page of the Ghanaian Times, EU supports Ghana with 31 million cedis to restore forests. Feasibility studies, designs for bridge over Afram River complete. That's according to the Finance Minister. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning, and this is the Canadian studio. I'm back in the Canadian studio. Very cold indeed.
I'll rectify that for you shortly.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, I've got the New Finder newspaper here this morning. Quick run through what the headlines have in store for us, and then, of course, we'll get into the meat of the matter. The front page says, job creation is the surest path to improving incomes. Job creation is the surest path to improving incomes. You've got an economist pictured here on the front page, although they omit said economist's name. Ghana tightens appliance import regulations ahead of December 1 deadline. Market capitalization hits some 165.5 billion Ghana cedis as GSE ends week on strong momentum. And new measures will widen tax net and boost corporate income revenue. I think more of the newspapers will be trickling in as we proceed, but that's what I've got on the New Finder.
Right, let's get into a bit of the details. What is of interest? The Speaker launching scholarship for MPs, parliamentary staff. That story is by Joshua Bediako Kumsin. It reads, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingston Bagbin, has launched a scholarship scheme designed to expand educational opportunities for members of Parliament and staff of the parliamentary service. The Speaker Scholarship, which is in collaboration with the Noble International Business School, NIPS, will provide over $200,000 worth of reduced tuition packages for beneficiaries to pursue master's and doctoral programs in governance, leadership, and public sector innovation. Under the scheme, MPs and parliamentary staff will have access to NIPS flagship postgraduate programs, including the Doctor of Public Sector, Innovation and Leadership, tailored to equip government officials with advanced skills in policy analysis, evidence-based decision-making, and institutional transformation. The scheme is expected to enhance legislative work by supporting beneficiaries to conduct rigorous research, produce high-quality policy briefs, understand the fiscal implications of bills, and strengthen parliamentary oversight. And so speakers worked his way, secured a scholarship for members of parliament as well as the parliamentary staff. That should be of interest to you if you work with parliament or you're a member of parliament. Also here, the talks of the VAT reform, I'm not sure Guta will agree, but the 2026 budget, VAT reforms to boost business growth, that's according to the GRA boss, Anthony Sapong. He's acting Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. And the sweeping value-added tax reforms contained in the 2026 budget are designed to create a stronger business environment, reduce operational costs, and stimulate job creation across key sectors. That's according to the Acting Commissioner General of the GRA, Anthony Sapong. Now, he explains that raising the VAT registration threshold from 200,000 to 750,000 will remove the tax compliance burden from thousands of micro and small businesses, allowing them to focus on expansion and employment, eliminating the cascading effect of VAT, scrapping the 1% COVID levy, and making the National Health Insurance levy and the Ghana Education Trust Fund levies fully claimable as input credits with significantly reduced production costs, Mr. Sapon said at a post-2026 budget forum in Accra yesterday.
Interesting. This one has piqued my interest. It's on the center spread of the Finder newspaper, page 8 to be precise. Ghana launches Dig Once policy to embed fibre in new roads. Now, the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Samuel Nate George, and he's been a bit quiet in the last few weeks, or have I just not been following?
He posted a few yesterday.
I see.
Some work has gone on, and there's a student package for the use of Google Scholar programs, Gemini, and some other AI platforms.
Okay, because this year he's had quite an active year, especially on the socials. My God, a bit of bass, a bit of boast, especially when it comes to X. Anyways, well, during a high-level session at the Africa Tech Festival in Cape Town, South Africa, he revealed that Cabinet has approved a pioneering policy requiring fibre optic ducts, and access chambers to be integrated into all new road construction projects nationwide. Describing the initiative as transformative, the minister explained that the decision positions Ghana as a leader in infrastructure-led digitalization across the continent. He stressed that every new road will now be a digital road. Fancy. With contractors including fiber chambers alongside road works. Now, this approach eliminates the need for costly digging by telecom operators and allows for faster, more affordable and sustainable network deployment. The policy, referred to as Dig Once policy, follows years of technical advocacy by the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. All right, interesting. So now all our roads are going to be high-tech, digi roads. You do the road and then it's embedded. You have fiber optic embedded in the road. China crown will do something.
Say China
crown will do something.
And this fiber optic, what is it supposed to help us do?
I think this is for the telcos to help bring us some swift, efficient internet. For all you tech heads out there listening to us, let me know if I'm on the right path.
So they want to expand fiber optics across the length and breadth of the country.
New road, then it's embedded with fiber optic cable.
Yeah, so that it will be spreading connectivity
everywhere. 5G. I'm seeing something here. Okay, the policy is expected to reduce fiber cuts, minimize network downtime, lower broadband deployment and maintenance costs, and accelerate nationwide 5G rollout and expansion of digital infrastructure. Is anybody using 5G as we speak? Am I behind the cave?
The 5G didn't start.
It didn't start.
It didn't start as we were promised.
I think this might get us a bit closer to that 5G. But already 4G is super efficient. What comes after 4G?
5G.
Isn't there an
No, it's 4G, 5G.
4G, 5G, okay.
If you're in China, you'll be experiencing something else because they have internet that can download, was it a terabyte of data in about a minute or was it a second? They continue to experiment with a lot of these things, but down here, 4G is what we have.
Accra, we have now fiber optic, fiber. Every new road has a why.
But I think it's a smart way to go about in terms of connectivity, because every now and then they are having to dig up people's lawns, gutters and sides of the road. And so if there is a plan, and it will be important, this is, one of those fanciful conversations that come about every now and then, well, like we were told, we're going to put up a sky train and all that. If there is a plan, I'm sure that if you go to the roads and highways, the entire country's road network is mapped out.
Yeah.
Areas where there's yet to be a major development in terms of the roads. That this idea or rich idea of innovation should be looking at mapping out alongside the roads and highways and seeing for yourself the entirety of the country's road network. Which ones are currently supposed to be handed over to contract for construction? Then we're working side by side with them, and then as the construction is ongoing, the cables are being laid, the internet is being, or connectivity is being expanded across the length and breadth of the country. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. This just gives us the idea of what is expected, and not really the intricate details as to what can come about from there. And so we wait to see.
We wait for you, Jata. I'm sure you'll be giving us a full breakdown of that. Now, I know the sports team will be here in due course, and today the Black Stars will be facing off against South Korea. We saw what happened in that game against Japan. If you stick with us, we've got live commentary at 10 a.m. right here for you on 3FM 92.7. I'm sure Sixtus is feeling a bit vindicated. How do you feel about that, Marna? Because Otoado did not see to it that we didn't face another defeat, 2-0. I mean, within 50 minutes, Japan had showed us something small. But today, we face off against South Korea. What are your predictions?
I don't think, we could beat Korea. We beat them at the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 4?
Your faith in Otuado remains steadfast.
No, it's not about faith. I have faith in the quality of players we assemble. I always, when I say, people be like, oh, that's football has changed, football has advanced, football has done this and that and that. Look, and I keep saying, if you walk the length and breadth of this country, the sheer amount of talents that do not ever get to make it is mind-numbing.
That's right.
And so we can assemble a good enough team. And I have played a bit of football before. I think I played inter-schools when I was in JHS.
You were a striker?
No, I love to play defense, actually.
I see.
I'm not someone who actually fancied the striker. No. I was an out-and-out defender when I was playing football.
No, you look like a striker. That's why.
No, I beg. When you say striker, you want to say other things. I beg you.
Hey.
No,
anyway.
I wasn't a striker. If you get along with people who know how to play very good football, when they come together, without a coach, right? And this is from my own small football I played.
Right.
The way they easily get to understand each other is crazy. After playing a few, I'm being honest with you.
Because that has been our biggest critique, that these guys play, they don't have that cohesion.
That's why I always struggle to really come to terms. Maybe football has really changed to that extent that because when people are a talented group of individuals come together and they play football, oh my goodness. Maybe on the international front we're not really able to play, but we've played a lot of games such that people should be able to understand each other. Because the nooks and crannies we used to play football at, the guys understood each other. They knew where each other would be and find them.
Is that not more because of the frequency of the
That's what I'm saying.
games?
And the Black Stars, they played frequently amongst each other.
They'll play one and they go away. They play one and they go away.
And I say this not trying to say that, they play one and then they go away. They play one and then they go away. Like, sometimes guys gather and on that, it's sometimes the first time you're meeting the person you're playing with. And yet there's a level of understanding that you can do this. The person knows you can do this and will trust that you can do this.
Some chemistry can be manufactured.
Exactly. And so, the sports guys will have to come and
break it down for us.
And prove me wrong.
Because
but I grew up around Odogono Senior High School. You know, the core football, when a lot of young kids, then playing football was like a big deal. We try and get into teams and what have you. I saw them play football, and sometimes even if you don't play football, and as guys, you go and you chair, you come in some numbers, and there's a straight line. Front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back.
That's how you make up your team.
That's how you make up your team.
I see.
And then you get on the field. There is some understanding. There is some chemistry. So I always try. It's not like we've not. And that's the small football we played somewhere Awoshi when we were growing up.
You Kamal Dean Suleimana, he's already quaking in his boots. He says South Korea has evolved. So don't whet your appetite too much ahead of this game against South Korea. Now, Atalanta forward Kamal Dean Suleimana has cautioned his Black Stars teammates and the technical team and the rest of Ghanaians to be wary of South Korea ahead of their friendly match in Seoul today. The tricky playmaker says the South Korean side Ghana defeated at the 2022 World Cup has evolved significantly, presenting a tougher opposition in today's match-up. Some might say you did explain. The game hasn't started. No, so explanations.
I've not been impressed with Kamal Dean in a Black Stars jersey. I have to be very, very honest. He's a very, very talented footballer, but it hasn't quite clicked just as yet for me in terms of what it is that he can do and all of that. No.
He says, manage your expectations, please. Manage your expectations ahead of today.
We don't go into it. Well, maybe he's taking a cue from the finance minister. You say manage your expectations and then he beat the targets he set. If that's the case, that's well and good. But you're not going to tell us manage your expectations and then you go and lose to South Korea. Please.
He said the South Korea of yesterday or yesteryear is not the same South Korea today. But we keep a keen eye out on that game. Again, you can catch it live on our channels, especially on 3FM 92.7. We'll give you live commentary and we'll see whether Kamal Dean has set our expectations in the right direction. I am expecting a win for the Black Stars. We've done it before, and I think we can certainly do it again. There was something here concerning the IMF. Lots of money talk this morning on the Finder newspaper. This one has to do with tax incentives. Now, the IMF urges Ghana to cut ineffective tax incentives to strengthen revenue mobilization. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has advised the government to reconsider the wide range of tax incentives granted to businesses, warning that many of them are poorly targeted and fail to produce the intended economic gains. Scaling back such incentives, the fund argues, could significantly boost domestic revenue and improve the overall efficiency of Ghana's tax system. Ghana's tax to GDP ratio currently sits at about 13%, well below its potential. Now, the IMF notes across sub-Saharan Africa, similar gaps, often more than 5% of GDP, stem from structural challenges, including high levels of informality, weak enforcement mechanisms, and administrative shortcomings. In this context, scaling back costly and often poorly targeted tax expenditures could contribute to narrowing the tax gap by strengthening revenue performance and improving the efficiency of the overall tax system. The IMF said the issue of revenue underperformance was echoed in the 2026 budget statement presented by the finance minister, who highlighted persistent leakages at the country's ports. He pointed to systemic failures in cargo valuation, classification, and inspection as key factors undermining the state's ability to mobilize revenue. This is a tale as old as time, how we effectively use tax incentives, who in fact benefits from these tax incentives. It's a conversation I know we'll be revisiting.
It comes up every now and then.
All the time we're talking about these things. Who actually is benefiting from these tax incentives? And at the end of the day, what do we really rake in as a nation? But that's it. This morning, a lot of money matters here on the Finder newspaper. I was expecting to see more on the newly sworn in CJ. I thought that would take center stage.
That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic, and the story is by Kester Abraham Crunchy. It reads, a hushed sense of solemnity fell over the auditorium of the Jubilee House yesterday as President John Dramani Mahama swore in the Chief Justice, or the new Chief Justice. He becomes the country's 28th Chief Justice and the 9th since the start of the Fourth Republic in January 1993. The President described the investiture as standing at the intersection of law, history, and service. In a speech that was both a charge and a pledge, the President declared his unwavering commitment to the independence of the judiciary, affirming it as a vital pillar for the health of Ghana's democracy. An independent judiciary is not a favor to the courts. It is a constitutional necessity and a protection for every citizen, including the President. We must therefore jealously safeguard the institutional, financial, and administrative autonomy of our courts, the President said. And on the bedrock of rule of law, the President left no room for ambiguity regarding the executive's respect for judicial decisions. Decisions about cases, whether we agree or not, whether popular or unpopular, must be respected and enforced, the President stated, drawing nods of approval from the assembled judges and lawyers present. This is the bedrock of the rule of law, President Mahama added. On corruption, the President had this to say. Striking a sober tone, President Mahama directly addressed the vexed issue of restoring public trust in the justice system. Against the backdrop of a national crest, he warned that a single act of corruption by a judicial officer can erode public confidence in the entire system. President Mahama therefore charged the new Chief Justice to lead a crusade for integrity, calling for transparent case assignment, strong internal mechanisms to sanction misconduct, and a culture where ethical conduct is supported and wrongdoing is swiftly sanctioned. Our citizens must know and feel that justice in Ghana is not for sale, he asserted, a line that prompted a murmur of agreement across the room. And so those are the details with respect to the Chief Justice. And I'll take you to the Ghanaian Times because farmers there are raising concerns about the slaughter of donkeys and climate crisis for them as well. Now, farmers across the Upper East region say agricultural livelihoods are under severe strain due to the combined impact of increasing donkey slaughter and worsening climate change. The illegal trade in donkey hides, driven by demand from Chinese buyers, has escalated over the past few years. Farmers report that donkeys, critical for plowing, transporting goods, and supporting rural labor, have become scarce in many parts of the region. As they are endangered right now.
Oh, I see.
Some farmers now cultivate smaller acreages because they cannot afford tractor services or access working animals. According to local accounts, between 150 and 200 donkeys were slaughtered daily in some communities between 2021 and 2024 to meet demand for ejao, a traditional Chinese medicinal product made from donkey skin.
Oh, I see. I actually thought maybe it was the meat that was being sought.
It's being used for medicine.
After. What do they do with the rest of the body parts? I wonder if anybody's actually consuming this donkey meat.
The story doesn't say. Let me see. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture statistics show that donkeys' population in the region declined to about 14,000 in 2022 from an estimated 13 million in the early 1980s. That's crazy. More than 12 million donkeys. We've lost more than 12 million donkeys in the last 30, 40 years.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, 45 years, I should say. 45 years. In the last 45 years, we've lost in excess of 12 million donkeys. 12.8 million, actually. More than 12.8 million donkeys, if these numbers are anything to go by. And the Upper East Regional Director of Agriculture, Alhaji Fusaini Zakaria, described the situation as an existential threat to rural livelihoods. And beyond this, what can be the intervention? I'll be curious to know if we can connect and follow up on this particular subject matter. What it means for the locals there, because now we understand this could affect food and farmer cultivation, amongst many other things. And so this is one I'll put on ice and we'll seek to get a bit more in terms of the details.
Because we're told that donkeys are under the threat of extinction. Again, with this story, due to the drastic population decline caused by commercial slaughter for their skin and meat. Interesting. I didn't know donkeys were sought after.
I didn't know for
like
meat or for anything like that, actually.
I'm very curious about this medicine that the donkey skin, helps to provide. Donkey skin medicine.
I hear it's a Chinese medicine.
Ejao.
A traditional Chinese medicinal product. What does it cure?
So we're told that they consume it in the form of bars, powders, pills, and liquids, and it's supposed to strengthen your blood if you take this donkey skin, and replenish your blood. It said it's supposed to
but there's
treat
plenty
contumely. Okay, it's supposed to have anti-aging property. You consume this donkey skin, you won't grow old. It can cure conditions like dizziness. It can help with insomnia. We're told it can also help with dry cough, and also for female vitality. It's used as an infertility treatment. Very interesting. I didn't know that donkeys were providing this much medicinal purpose. Okay.
I'm surprised by that myself, I'll be very honest. But we learn every day. But like again, I think this is something that should be of interest to us here. It's of interest to me, actually.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of this on the internet. Sometimes they even just boil the skin. You can boil it and consume it for extra hiwale.
Interesting.
Interesting. It's a life-enhancing tonic. All right. Now we're well aware of what donkey skin can do. But back to this issue of the CJ, was there something else that you wanted to highlight? I wanted to quickly go back to that story. Yesterday I watched the live swearing in, and I thought there would be maybe more noise from certain quarters, especially what has happened with, the immediate past CJ. I don't know if this puts matters to bed. We know there are court cases in the offing, and what becomes of that?
But I see this as the system in itself seeking to move on. Yes, there are cases pending in court, but there appears to be a sense of we cannot litigate forever.
That's right.
And the system will have to find a way of moving on. And with the swearing in of a new Chief Justice, that could be the beginning of that process. It doesn't also suggest, and I'll not say this to want to suggest that the pending cases become moot or whatever. They must be heard, and heard swiftly. I think the CJ had cause to respond to whether or not they had empaneled for substantive cases in the respective suits that sought to challenge the 146 committee process and all of that. We look forward to seeing all of those come to bear. And this one, I'll take a cue from Christian Malm-Hesse, who says that, look, this is important for our jurisprudence. It will help lay down procedures and rules as to how these processes should be, even as conversations continue to go around in the background, that there needs to be a CI which will aid in the process of the removal of a Chief Justice, because for many, the process as it is outlined in the Constitution now leaves room for far too much abuse. And so people are saying that let's bring in additional legislation which can police the process a bit more. But I see this more as the system wanting to move on, and because we can't be at a standstill forever. And I don't say this in trying to suggest that anybody's rights should be denied them, but I just feel or see this as a system moving on, even as they try and have conversations and these matters before the courts continue in that breadth. As to what will happen when the courts rule in the favor of the former CJ, if did I say when?
Yes.
If
maybe there's something Marina knows.
No, I don't know anything. I beg you.
Sure.
If so, it's just a use of the clause.
Yes.
If then we will enter into new uncharted waters, and we'll see how, as a democracy, we'll wade through those waters as well. But for now, the system says we've sworn in a new Chief Justice, and we'll see what happens from there.
Certainly. Well, fellow Ghanaians, let us know what your thoughts are. You can, of course, connect with us across our socials. Psychologically, for you, are you now ready to move on from what has been quite a tumultuous period in our history as far as the judiciary is concerned? We'll put a poll up, actually. We'll get that going and pick your thoughts on that. You can find us on X, on Facebook, also on Instagram. We're streaming on YouTube. Make sure that you never miss a beat. The hashtag we're using this morning, #3FM Sunrise.